Welcome. In this playthrough of Marvel Champions, a card game, we have Vision teaming up with Scarlet Witch to take on the Wrecking Crew. So I hadn't played these guys in a long time, so a lot of things going on here. So we actually have 4 villains and 4 encounter decks to go through. So in this one, for the scenario, we are basically, I'm playing on expert mode, so all these guys have a B side. Then we're all getting a villain and a side scheme for each of those. So that's what this is talking us through. Force response. So we've got a threshold of 6 per player. After step 1 of the villain phase, place a threat on each side scheme. Move the active counter to the villain whose scheme has the most threat. There's a tie we get to choose. So basically, all the characters have an ability that whenever they scheme, they place their threat on their side scheme. So for Bulldozer, he's got a scheme of 2, attack of 3. And when he attacks, the attack gains overkill, and he'll be coming in with 15 health per player, so 30. And then all of the side schemes have an ability that when threat is placed there, if there's 10 or more, something else is going to happen. So for him, starts with 4 threat, and when there's 10 or more, each player must discard the top 3 cards of their deck and then remove all but 3 threat from the scheme. For Pile Driver, scheme of 2, attack of 3, retaliate 1, 14 health per player. And when his scheme goes off, each player discards upgrade or support they control with the highest cost, and then remove all but 3 threat. Then Thunderball, scheme of 3, attack of 2. After Thunderball attacks you, deal a damage to each character you control, 16 health per player. And ability on his scheme is each friendly character is stunned. And lastly, we have the Wrecker, scheme of 3, attack of 3. While he is attacking, he gets +2 attack if the attack is undefended, 18 health per player, and his ability is deal 2 damage to each friendly character. And then for our heroes, I've got Scarlet Witch going with aggression and vision. I'm just using all basic cards, so trying something different there also. So Scarlet Witch, 2 for thwart, 1 for attack, 2 for defense. Chaos Control. On boost icons, when a counter card would be counted, discard the top card of the encounter deck and count the number of boost icons on that card instead. Hand size of 5, 10 hit points. Recovery of 3. Superpowered Sibling. As an action, discard 2 cards from your hand, draw 2 cards. And if Pietro is in play, we get to draw 3 instead. Then for aggression, we have 2 Power of Aggressions, Combat Training, a Magic Attack, 3 Piercing Strikes, 3 Melees, and then Spider-Girl, Brawn, Valkyrie, Marvel Boy, Bug, Hulk, and Tigra. And for basic cards, our 3 Resources, Helicarrier, 3 Spiritual Meditations, and 2 Downtimes. So Vision, it's got a thwart of 2, attack of 0, defense of 0. Density Manipulation as an action, change mass form by flipping your mass form upgrade over. Once per round, hand size of 5 and 11 hit points. On his alter ego side, recovery of 3. And then while we're in dense mass form, we get +2 recovery. Or in intangible mass form, we get +1 hand size. And for setup, we put our mass form upgrade into play with the intangible side face up. And with that, he cannot attack or defend and reduce the amount of damage he takes from each attack by 2. On the other side, while in hero form, he gets +2 attack and +2 defense. In response, after you change this form, draw 1 card. And then for all of his basic cards, we have 2 of the power in all of us. Then our 3 basic resources, then 3 reboots, 3 meditations, Deft Focus, Quinn Carrier, Helicarrier, Avengers Mansion, and then our allies, Spider-Man, Nick Fury, Mockingbird, Ironheart, Machine Man, Cosmo, then 2 Haymakers, and 2 Endurances. All right, everything's set up. The first time we use the encounter decks, I'll give them a shuffled in instead of doing 5 minutes of shuffling right now. So for Vision, 5 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. See Nick, Power in All of Us, just passing through, Density Control, and a Genius. Think we're good with those 3. I think those we can do without for right now. Solar Gem and Vivian. And for Wanda, starting with 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. melee, a magic shield, a hex bolt, magic attack, the Hulk, and another magic shield. Yes, so we'll keep the Hulk. Hex bolt's always fun. We'll pitch the other 4. Valkyrie, magic shield, and a bug, and combat training. All right, first thing, we're bringing in Nick Fury, 4 to 2, attack of 2, 3 health. If he comes to play, we can either remove 2 threat from a scheme, draw 3 cards, or deal 4 damage to an enemy, and at the end of the round, he will be discarded. So we're going to draw 3 cards. Helicarrier, our cape, and the power in all of us. So we're going to bring in the Helicarrier as an action. Exhaust that, choose a player to reduce the next card they play by 1 this phase. Then we're going to flip this over, draw a card to a Haymaker. Make our next card 1 cheaper to bring in a Solar Gem. Gives us the aerial trait, and as a resource, we can exhaust this to generate a wild resource. And with Nick, we're going into Pile Driver for 2. Down to 26. We get retaliated on. And take our damage. Then Vision's going into the Wrecker for 2. Down to 34. Going to use WANDA's ability to discard 2 cards to draw 2. Power of Aggression and our Crest. Power of Aggression, we're bringing in Bug. 4 to 1, attack of 1, 2 health. After hero makes a basic attack, we heal a damage from Bug. He's going to come in and attack for 1. We'll flip over. We're going to play our Hex Bolt. So hero action, discard the top 3 cards of the encounter deck. For each card discarded this way that has a boost icons equal to certain numbers, different things are going to happen. So 3. First one is 0, so we deal 2 damage to an enemy. We're going to do that over here on Mr. Retaliate. Then for 2, we draw a card. Getting Agatha Harkness. And then for 0, deal 2 damage to an enemy. Down to 22. And while that is a good card to go, I hate holding on to cards, so we'll bring in Agatha Harkness. So an alter ego action, exhauster, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 of those to your hand, and place the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. Then we're going to thwart for 2. All right, ending her turn. We're going to keep Vivian over here, drawing 4 more. Meditation, Avengers Mansion, Deft Focus, and a Reboot. Over here, Helicarrier, Hexbolt, Tigra, Strength, and Molecular Decay. So we add a threat to that in each side scheme. He has the most threat, so he's staying in charge here. So he's going to attack Vision. Nick's going to defend. So he's attacking for 4. And the bug's about to get squished for 5 damage. And in counter cards, see, the villain whose side scheme has the least threat attacks you. We get to choose between getting hit for 3 or hit for 2, and after Thunderball attacks you, deal damage to each character you control. It's pretty much the same either way. So Pile Driver will attack, we'll defend. So 1, 2, 3, 3 damage. We take 2 off and take 1. And then for her, choose to either discard an upgrade you control Replace a threat on the active villain side scheme for each upgrade you control. If you do not control any upgrades, this card gains Surge. We have a support, and this is upgrades only, so that is Surging. The active villain heals 3 hit points. Give that villain a tough status card. So back up to full health. And tough. And pass first player. We're going to bring in a Helicarrier and use that to make our next card 1 cheaper. Then play a Hex Bolt. So for 1, remove 2 threat from a scheme. Then the next one, remove 2 threat from a scheme again. Take that from over here. And the last one, remove 2 threat from a scheme. Then attack for 1 to get rid of tough. Make your next card 1 cheaper to reboot. Ready a friendly android character and heal a damage from it. Then use that for a resource to bring in Deft Focus. Exhaust that to reduce the resource cost of the next superpower card you play this turn by 1. Then we're going to bring in Vivian. Thwart 1, attack at 1/2 health. While we're in tangible form, she's +2 thwart. Dense form, +2 attack. So she's attacking for 3 right now. And then we're going to attack for 2 more. Down to 31. And flip her form. And flip over, or end her turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Downtime, Brawn, Piercing Strike, a Hex Bolt, and Molecular Decay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Endurance, Solar Beam, Super Dense Strike, Mass Increase, and a Reboot. Threat over there and there. That jumps to 3, 5, and 6. So he still stays there. Attacking and defending, so base 3. 3 damage. We take 1 down to 9. Attacking over here and defending for a bunch. Vivian goes away. And then encounter cards. Went through there, so get an acceleration token, and that just applies to the main scheme. And reshuffle. All right. Choose a villain whose side scheme has the least threat. Reveal the top card of his deck. Top 2 cards if he's the only one. And that is Pile Driver. You are confused. If you're already confused, he schemes. And then place 2 threat on each side scheme. All right, so that moves up. All right, so back to our turn. Passing first player. All right, we're going to change forms to draw a card. Meditation. And use our Solar Gem and Deft Focus and Endurance for Solar Beam. We're in dense form, deals 7 damage to an enemy. Down to 24. And Super Dense Strike. We're in dense form, deal 5 damage to an enemy and piercing. Down to 19. Then we're going to thwart for 2. Then make the next card over here one cheaper to Hex Bolt, because that's always fun. So the first one with 1, remove 2 threat from a scheme. And with 2, draw a card into Spider Girl. And 0 is deal 2 damage to an enemy. Throw that over here. Then make your next card one cheaper to bring in Brawn. Thwart a 1, attack a 1, 5 health. After he attacks, remove a threat from a scheme. So attacking for 1. And we'll remove a threat from over here. And ender turn. Keep Spider Girl, Spiritual Meditation, Downtime, Meditation, and Quicksilver. Keep Reboot, Meditation, Density Control, Energy, and our Hickory Branch Lane. Now we get 2 threat on that one. Adding threat. 7, 6, 6, and 7. We're still going to choose over here. So Brawn will defend for 3, 4 damage. Over here we will defend for 6 damage. So down to 7. And in counter cards, the villain whose side scheme has the least threat attacks you. Well, they're both the same pretty much in the end. So 3, discard a support you control. Oh, that's the only support we have. Down to 4 health. And guard, schema 0, attack of 2 and 3 health. All right, scheme to get rid of confused. Meditation, draw 2 cards, choose and discard a card from your hand. So we've got Genius and Marvel Boy. We'll get rid of Downtime. Then Meditation again. Piercing Strike and Warp Reality. So we're going to bring in Spider Girl, thwart a 1, attack for 2, 2 health. After your player stun and confuse a minion. She's just going to come in and attack for 2. Stun and confuse, but we're bringing in Marvel Boy to go ahead and finish. 4 to 0, attack of 2, 2 health. When he attacks, spend a physical resource, gains piercing and ranged. We are going to make the next card played over here one cheaper to reboot. Ready and heal for 1. Deft focus to make our next superpower one cheaper. Bring in density control after you change mass form. Discard this card. Add a vision event from your discard pile to your hand. Let's see, is that something we want to do now? Sure. We're going to change form. Use that to get just passing through. Then use that as a resource. Remove 3 threat from a scheme, ignoring the patrol icon. Because we're in intangible form. We'll take 3 off of this one. Then we're going to flip over and heal for 3. Bring in Branch Lane. So alter ego action, exhaust this card, search your deck and discard pile for an android ally and add it to your hand. But we want Vivian back. Then we'll bring her in play with energy And she will thwart for 3. We'll knock that down a little bit. And end her turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Melee, meditation, power of aggression, decay, and a piercing strike. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Machine Man, super dense strike, Quinn Carrier, reboot, solar beam, and phase disruption. 2 threats. It goes to 8, 4, 7, and 5. Not good, because this guy's got overkill when he attacks. So attacking for 3. So we'll defend. 5 damage. So we end up taking 3 down to 6. Scheming for 2, 3, which is going to take that up to 10. There's 10 more threat here. Each player must discard the top 10 cards of their deck. Remove all but 3 threat. That's not good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then definitely less. All right, counter cards. Bulldozer attacks you. Discard the top card of your deck for each damage dealt by this attack. Well, even though he's got overkill, he could potentially kill us. So Marvel Boy is defending. So 3, move the active counter to the villain whose side scheme has the least threat, which is still him. So 3 damage with overkill. Takes him out. And 2 came through. We're down to 4. Then got a corrupt prison guard. Scheme of 0, attack with 2 and 3 health and guard. Over here, bull. Oh, yes. What else were we doing? That last card. Let's see. Discard the top card of your deck for each damage dealt by this attack. So the attack actually dealt 3, 1 to there and 2 over here. So shield, aggression, and a piercing strike. And that came out. Now we're doing this one. Discard the top card of your deck for each threat placed by this activation. So he's scheming for 2, 3, 4. Spider-Man, Cosmo, meditation, and meditation. And an escaped convict with Surge. Scheme of 1, attack of 1, 2 health. Surges into, attach a bulldozer, gives him +1 attack. After he attacks you, discard a card from the top of your deck for each point of damage dealt by this attack. It's a hero action. We can exhaust a hero and discard a card at random from your hand to discard this card. Pass first player. Well, we're going to heal for 3. Up to 11. We're going to thwart for 3. Just take it off of here. And use this ability to go get an android. Then we'll flip over. Change form to draw a card. Use that to bring in Vivian. Now she's attacking for 3. We'll get rid of the convict. We'll use the gem as a resource to bring in the Quinn Carrier. Only if we're an Avenger. Exhaust it to generate a wild resource. Then using those 2, And the phase disruption, solar beam. We're in dense form, deal 7 damage to an enemy. Down to 11. We are going to meditate, drawing 2 and discarding a card. Quicksilver and Chaos Magic. So we're going to use Chaos Magic. Play a card from your hand, ignoring its resource. Oh, we've got to discard a card. That is going to be Decay. Play a card from your hand, ignoring its cost. Discard cards from the top of the encounter deck equal to that card's printed resource cost. So 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4-1, attack for 2/4 health. It's an action. We can ready Quicksilver once per phase. So he's going to attack for 2, ready, and attack for 2 more. To get rid of the guard. Actually, no. He'll do his 4 damage up here. So down to 7. Make your next card 1 cheaper. To do a melee attack, deal 3 damage to an enemy and then deal 3 damage to another enemy. Do 3 here. And then take him down to 4. Then we'll flip over. Use her ability. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 of those to your hand, and place the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. Hex Bolt, Molecular Decay, and a melee. We'll put the Hex Bolt in our hand and those on the bottom. And end our turn. We'll keep Machine Man, powering all of us, Genius, Meditation, and Super Dense Strike. We're going to keep Hex Bolt, pitch that, get some Meditation, Energy, Hex Bolt, another Bolt, and Combat Training. 2 threats. And 5, 5, 8, and 6, which puts him in charge. So attacking over here. See, after he attacks, you deal damage to each character you control. So that's after the attack. So defending here, so base 2, 3, 4. And we take a damage. Then scheming for 3, just 3. But that's enough. So with that, we're going to stun each friendly character. If there's 10 or more threats, stun each friendly character, remove all but 3. That's a lot of stun. And encounter cards. Move all threat from the side scheme with the least threat to the side scheme with the most threat. So 5, 5, and 6. So that goes to 9. If that scheme's forced ability is not triggered this way, this card gains Surge. So that surges into... Choose to either discard an upgrade you control or place a threat on the active villain side scheme for each upgrade you control. Well, we will get rid of Deft Focus. Then an escaped convict with Surge. And now he's got a ball and chain. So after he attacks, place a threat on the main scheme. Hero action, exhaust your hero, discard a card at random from your hand to discard this card. And +1 attack and move first player. All right. Agatha. Got downtime, a bug, and decay. We're going to keep downtime. Next card we play is going to be 1 cheaper. which is going to be downtime, giving us +2 recovery. We're going to heal for 5. Then flip over. Attack, get rid of stun. Since the attack didn't happen, we don't take consequential damage. Same thing there. I'm going to do some training to draw 2 cards and discard a card. Downtime and magic attack. Hex bolting. 1, 2, 3. All right, so the first one is 0. So deal 2 damage to an enemy. We kind of want this guy to die soon. Then 1, remove 2 threat from a scheme, which would be that one in case we don't kill him. And then 0, deal 2 damage to an enemy. And that will take him out. So we'll clean up just a bit. Then we're going to hex bolt again. All right, so for 0, dealing 2 damage, we'll get rid of the convict. Then for 3, place a status card on a character. We're going to stun him. Then for 0, deal 2 damage to an enemy. Yeah, we're going to work on this guy. That overkill's a problem. All right. Attack to get rid of stun. I'm going to bring in Machine Man. Thwart 1, attack at 1, 3 health. When he attacks or thwarts, spend up to 3 resources of any type. He gets +1 thwart and attack for each resource spent that way. We're going to spend 3 resources. Attack for 4. Down to 24. Then use the Quinn Carrier and the Solar Gem. We're in dense form. Deal 5 damage to an enemy. Down to 19. Then we're going to change forms and go Alter Ego and Ender turn. Keeping the Hex Bolt, Meditation, Magic Shield, Genius, and a Piercing Strike. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Solar Beam, Density Control, Endurance, Energy, or Helicarrier's back in an Avengers mansion. 9 out of 12. We might need to do something over there. 6, 6, and 1. So we get to choose. We're choosing Bulldozer. Attack here, lose stun. Thwarting for 2, that might have been a mistake. So thwarting for 3. So up to 9. Then encounter cards. Choose either discard an upgrade you control or place a threat on the active villain side scheme for each upgrade we control. We're going to get rid of downtime. And then we're an Alter Ego. The villain whose side scheme has the most threat schemes. So he's going to go off. So scheming for 2, 3, 4. That's going to trigger. So he's going back down to 3. And we discard the top 10 cards of our deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And pass first player. All right, Vision uses this to go find Vivian. Puts her in her hand. And we'll use those to pay for. She's currently thwarting for 3. I'm going to bring our helicarrier back in and go ahead and use it. Actually, not just yet. I think we'll flip over. Flip that to draw a card. Just passing through. Then play Solar Beam to deal 7 damage to an enemy. So down to 12. Then attack for 2, down to 10. And attack for 1, down to 9. All right, over here, attack to get rid of stun. We're going to meditate, drawing 2 and discarding a card. So we've got Decay and a melee. Get rid of the melee. Make the next card over here 1 cheaper. To do a Decay. Deal 5 damage to an enemy. Discard the top 2 cards of the encounter deck. For each boost icon discarded this way, deal an additional damage to that enemy. So 5, 2 cards. So we're dealing 8 damage. Takes it down to 1. But we went through his deck. So another acceleration. Then Spider Girl is going to attack to finish him off. All right, then here, make our next card 1 cheaper for Hex Bolt. And puts him in charge. So 1, 2, and 3. So for 0, deal 2 damage to an enemy. Down to 18. Then for 1, remove 2 threat from a scheme. And then for 2, draw a card. And we found a bug. Then we're going to flip over and use Agatha. How's this worded? Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. All right, so we get to look. We're going to keep this, put the rest on the bottom, then spin those to play a bug. Well, I guess first we'll get an encounter card and shuffle. Then bring in Bug, thwart 1, attack 1, 2 health. And he will thwart for 1. And we will end our turn. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Magic, Hex Bolts, times 3, Piercing Strike, and a Decay. 1, 2, 3, 4, and an encounter card. Powering all of us, Reboot, Ironheart, and just passing through. Got 1 more card coming. As we toss a bunch around. Genius. So 3 threats. That puts him in charge. So attacking for 3. Machine Man will defend. Machine Man did not make it. Scheming for 2, 3, 4. Takes it up to 9. And encounter cards. Let's see. You are confused. And attached to the active villain side scheme. Threat cannot be removed from attached scheme by thwarting. Hero action. The villain corresponding to the attached side scheme attacks you. Then discard this card. All right. Then over here, discard the support you control at the highest cost. There's a helicarrier. And remove each stunned and confused status card from each villain. No status cards removed this way against Surge. Surge is into choose a villain whose side scheme has the least threat. Reveal the top card of that deck. And that is, so we can't take threat off of that one now either. And pass first player. I'm going to use this ability. We will keep Power of Aggression. Then flip over. Attack for 2. Down to 30. And ready. And then attack for 2 into Pile Driver. And leave. And then thwart for 2. We're going to let the next card over here be one cheaper. To Molecular Decay and to him. So 5 damage. Discarding 2, so 5, 6, 7 damage. Down to 9. And another acceleration. And we get retaliated on for 1. Then we're going to Hex Bolt because it's fun. So 1, 2, and 3. So the first one, remove 2 threat from a scheme. Then for 0, deal 2 damage to an enemy. That's not an attack, so down to 7. And the last one is 2, draw a card. Getting Marvel Boy, and then we'll go ahead and bring him in with the Power of Aggression, and he will attack for 2 over here. Down to 28. And we'll keep Bug around. All right, so over here, we're going to attack for 3 because we're in the dense form. Down to 4 health. Play Iron Hearts. After you play it from your hand, draw a card. Into a Solar Beam. Then we're going to attack for 2. Get retaliated on down to 9. Then use the Solar Gem for a reboot to ready a friendly android character and heal a damage. So back up to 10. Then we're going to attack for 2 to finish him off. And then there was Thunderball. All right, attacking for 1. And a 27. Wind Carrier plus 2 more. Solar Beam, 7 damage. Down to 20. End our turn. Actually, yeah, we're going to flip that to the other form. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So energy, strike, meditation, mockingbird, and a reboot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Downtime, chaos magic, brawn, combat training, and a decay. We get 4 threats, 8 out of 12. He gets another one. He's in charge. So attacking over here, Marvel Boy defends. A base 3, 4, 5. You reread this. After he attacks, place a threat on the main scheme. And after he attacks, deal a damage to each character you control. So damage and damage, those guys are out. And threat on the main scheme. Then attacking over here, defending, not surviving. Down to 9 and 10 out of 12. And we get another acceleration. And encounter cards. Thunderball attacks you. If this attack is undefended, place 3 threat on his side scheme. So I guess I'll defend. So it's a base 3. 6. -2. So we take 4. Down to 3 health. And then we're going to take a damage and add a threat. And over here, deal a damage to each friendly character you control. So down to 8 health and pass first player. All right, so that is at 11 out of 12. That is a problem. All right, thwart, get rid of confused. Quinn Carrier for a reboot so we can ready and heal. Then thwart for 2. Then Solar Gem with energy to bring in Mockingbird. 4-1, attack of 1, 3 health. After she enters play, stun an enemy. Thwart for 1. And we'll flip this over to draw a card, to Endurance, spin 2, we're in dense form, deal 5 damage to an enemy. Down to 15. We are going to do Chaos Magic to bring in Brawn. We really need to do some top decking here, or else we're not going to make it another turn. So ignore its cost, discard the top 3 cards of the encounter deck. 2 and 3. He's going to come in and attack for 1 to remove a threat. Then flip over. Use her ability, discarding 2 cards to draw 2. Piercing Strike and Meditation. Use Meditation to draw 2 and discard a card. Then last chance, Agatha Christie. We need an ally that can thwart. So we keep meditation and put these on the bottom. Then draw 2 and keep 1. Spider Girl and the crest. Get rid of the shield. Bring in Spider Girl and thwart for 1. All right, Ender turn. I'm going to keep Decay. Got Genius, Valkyrie, Melee, Downtime, and Power of Aggression. And over here, Density Control, Solar Beam, just passing through, and a Mass Increase. So 5 threats takes us to 11. We add a threat over here, which takes us to 4. Goes to attack, lose stunned. Goes to scheme. If this attack is undefended, it's not an attack, so scheme for 3. And counter cards. Let's see. Move all threat from the side scheme with the least threat. That scheme's... All right, nothing happens, so surging. Deal damage to each friendly character you control. And choose a villain whose side scheme has the least threat. Reveal the top card of his deck. 2 if he's the only villain in play. Alter Ego. Villain whose side scheme has the most threat schemes. So 1, 2, 3. The active counter to the villain with the least threat on this side scheme. Let's see. Move the active counter. All right, so it doesn't change anything. He's still scheming for 3. Which takes it to 10. So removing all but 3 and then stunning each friendly character. Stun, 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 stun. And lastly, place 3 threat on the side scheme with the most threat. Take that up to 5. And pass first player. All right, Agatha's ability. Looking at 3 cards and keeping 1. We'll keep the energy, I think. And put those on the bottom. Then use Wanda's ability. Discarding 2 cards to draw 2. Hexbolt and Melee. Flip over, attack, get rid of stunned. Same thing with these 2. Get rid of stunned. Next card we play over here is going to be 1 cheaper for Decay, doing 5 damage and discarding 2 cards. So 5, ouch, just 5 damage, down to 9. Then Melee, deal 3 damage to an enemy and 3 to a different enemy. Takes it down to 6. Hexbolt. 1, 2, and 3. So for 2, we're drawing a card into strength. Then for 0, deal 2 damage to an enemy, down to 4. And 1, remove 2 threat from a scheme. Then on the vision, attack to get rid of stunned. And we're in the right form, Solar Beam to do 7 damage, which takes him down. So that was about as close as you can get there. But an all basic vision with an aggressive Scarlet Witch able to take out the Wrecking Crew. A lot going on in that battle, so hopefully I didn't miss anything. But other than that, as always, hope you enjoyed this playthrough. So please click on the like button below and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.